I guess it is my show. I have to say something, so here I am. I mentioned earlier, this is business planning for me. This is not, this is not networking. This is not social. This is all business planning. Who's familiar with my 95-5? Okay, for those of you that aren't familiar with my 95-5, it's a play on the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. The 95-5 to me is very simple. And by the way, my audience now that I'm talking to are real estate agents and owner-operators, mortgage people, maybe second tier, because there's a lot of similarities. Escrow people, third tier. If you're an investor, yeah, somewhat. If you're just here purely for the economy show, then I'm probably going to lose most of the audience here right now. So I'm talking as me, Lance Martin, owner, operator, realtor for 37 years. 80-20 rule when I got in the business was 80% of the business is done by 20% of the agents. That's never been true as long as I've been in the business. 95-5, I came up with that. I don't think I stole it from somebody, but 7-8 years ago, 95% of the business done by 5% of the agents. Reality is that's no longer true. There's a compression. You've got agents like Chris Leeper and Adam Schwartz, who, by the way, aren't agents really. They think they are, but they're actually small offices. But that's fine, because when I was doing tons and tons of business, I considered myself an agent, but I had 20 people on my team. Dwayne had the same. We did huge volumes. The gentleman right over there sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of foreclosures, for the most part, by himself, not 95-5, one half, 99.5. So why do I bring it up? Is I think the people in this room, especially the people that are still here, you're probably top 1%ers, okay? Or at least you want to be a top 1%er. Everybody that left early, never sold a house in the last 12 months, or heck, maybe they had an appointment, they had to go sell a house. But most of them that aren't here, they're not in the business. So I somewhat disagree with what Gary just said. There's gonna, I think you said demand destruction, and the loan officers came through their stuff okay. We're going to come through this. What did Chris say at the end of his presentation? Everything's fine. Everything's going to be fine if you don't need to sell a house, because nothing's changed. And that's 85% of the people in this business. They don't have to sell anything. So there's my little speech on that. I just want to do a real quick look back on some things before we bring the panel up. My presentation is not what I had expected. I had to change a whole bunch of things. We've already talked a lot about this guy. I'm over him. I'm over him. I agree with what Chris said. I agree with what Gary said. Hopefully we just settle in somewhere between 6.5 and 7. Did anybody actually see Chris Thornburg's slide where I believe you predicted 7.6% mortgage rates? That slide was only on the screen for about 30 seconds, and it was in like 10-point type. Am I the only one who saw that? Am I the only one who saw that? Beacon Economics, mortgage rates, 7.6%. And what are you talking, December 31st, year end? December 31st. So if PRGM is thinking 6.5 to 7, that's great. Today we're at just sub 7, just a little bit. But I hope what Gary said is correct. I hope the consumer and everybody just stops obsessing about him and what the Fed's going to do and what CNBC is going to say, because it's not helping us. It's just not helping us. I went back on Optimal Blue. The bottom of the chart is January 2021. I think the mortgage guys will say that's basically the lowest of the low, 2.75 interest rates. This is painful. I'm not going to talk about it, but Rick Hoffman was one of my business consultants with Coldwell Banker. He is brilliant. I didn't realize how brilliant he was, but I went and watched a video of him. You guys can see on my forecast stuff. And we were talking about where we are, how are we going to come out of COVID, how are we going to come out of, again, we had eviction moratoriums, we had mortgage moratoriums, we had all these moratoriums. At that point, we had interest rates about 4.5%, 5%. And Rick had made a comment which just sticks with me all the time when I'm talking to Drew and Drake about our business plan. Like, where are we going? I said, we've never done this before. As a country, as a business, as an economy, we've never done this, to my recollection. By the way, I'm not an economist. I'm operating a business. So when Chris Thornburg says everything's fine, everything is not fine. It might be fine on the macro level. It might be fine for a certain industry, for a certain segment. But if you're an owner-operator of a real estate office, if you're an owner-operator of a mortgage company, that's bullshit, pardon my language. We're not fine. And why are we not fine? Well, okay, interest rates, maybe that's part of it. I took Chris's slide here because he was talking about a frozen market. So I just snagged that. And if you just kind of look at that, the existing home sales is why I took that slide, because I have my own slide. So a couple of things. By the way, let's just go back real quick because I went by that really quick. We're going to come back to existing home sales on Chris's slide on the right and existing home prices, Case Shiller existing home sales on the left, prices on the right. So this is CRMLS. This is Riverside County. This is prices. So who's a homeowner, investor, has a piece of real estate they'd like value to be stable? You're fine. So what Chris said is 100% correct. Everything's fine. Everything's fine, at least today. Prices are fine, okay? We had a little bit of dip when interest rates snuck up and all the rest of that sort of stuff. By the way, this is a 15-year chart. So, by the way, if you go all the way to the right, home prices hit record high. That came from Inman. That's a national number. Certainly true of us. I did Riverside, LA, San Bernardino, Orange County, all-time high, medium price. Lance, I don't like medium, fine. All-time high, average sales price, doesn't matter which one you choose, they're exactly the same. Well, they're not exactly the same, but all-time high prices. So if you're just looking at prices, everything's fine. Are prices going to go down based upon what most people are saying? No. Why is it not going to go down? Well, it's not going to go down because it can't go down. Why can't it go down? Because we don't have anything to sell. Chris said that. Everyone said that. This is active listings, okay? If you go all the way back 15 years ago, it's about 34,000 active listings. You go to today, that's about 10,000 active listings. That's not fine if you're an owner-operator in the real estate business. That's not fine if you're a real estate agent trying to make a living. It's fine if you're Chris Sleeper, if you're Adam Schwartz. Why? Because they're 95 fibers. They're 99 oneers. They're killers. The rest of the industry, it's tough. It's tough, which is why this is a business planning session. Lance, this is so depressing. And why is this? Because if you just want to do what you're doing, then fine, you're going to get crushed. If you want to do something better, you better make some adjustments, which is why I do this. This is why I do it. You have to adjust and go through that. I pulled, and again, I'm going to go very, very quick. I'm going to bring the panel up. Give me 3 more minutes and I'm done. That slide down at the bottom is Chris's slide. I snagged it off his presentation. He was talking about the Department of Justice going after Ticketmaster and Live Nation, whatever it happened to be. That triggered me, and I hate that word, but that triggered me. It says, because as Gary was saying, the DOJ's in our business. You guys aware of what's going on in our business? We're not fine. Chris Sleeper's going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. Adam Schwartz is going to be fine. Who's going to be fine? Good. Okay, because you guys are still here. The people that left, they ain't going to be fine. Okay? Because most of them don't know what the hell's going on. I was in a meeting a week and a half ago with some real big players, big players. By the way, way more successful than me. So maybe they're going to be fine too. They had no idea what was going on with the MLS. Had no idea what was going on with the DOJ lawsuits or the DOJ interacting with our business. So the DOJ has got their eye on more than that. Gary kind of finished his segment with what's going on in the industry. I did a video, 45 minutes. Art Carter was here earlier. If you want to know what's going on in our business as it relates to the NAR lawsuits and the settlement and the commission, go watch the video with Art. We are very, very fortunate because Art is our guy. Art is our advocate. And guess what? We're going to be fine. But it's going to be different, okay? And for a lot of us, we're going to make less money. Chris Sleeper's going to make more money. Adam Schwartz will make more money, primarily because they're listing agents. Listing agents, good. By the way, they're just not any listing agents. They're ridiculous listing agents. They're killers. They're 1%ers. They're going to do fine. They will make more money. So will Stacy. So will Dwayne. You guys will make more money. Rest of you won't. The buyer's agent, who considers himself a buyer's agent? 3 of you. Great. I'll talk to you 3. Everybody else can leave. If you can articulate your value, you're going to make more money. What percentage of the buyer's agents do we feel can actually articulate their value in this market? 1%, maybe 2. 5's generous. I do not believe that 5% of the agents that are representing buyers can actually articulate their value and maintain their fee. I don't believe it. So we'll see. So watch Art's video. I'm going to end before we bring the panel up with Mr. Barry O'Connor. Who are the investors that are still left in the room? You've got to watch Barry's video, okay? And again, Bill's here somewhere still. We are a frog in a pot. We have just sat here and allowed the landlord-tenant rights to just they've always been out of balance. Barry, just real quick, and we're going to bring up the panel. How long ago did it take you to evict a tenant from start to finish pre-COVID or pre-2000? 3 months. How long does it take today? 7 months, if everything goes perfect. If everything goes perfect. You could kind of, sort of, Barry's going to cover his ears, you could kind of, sort of do this on your own, and you'd be okay. God forbid you try to do it on your own today. It ain't going to happen. So it kind of gets back to Bill and what's going on in the legislature. Okay, so I'm done. Let's go ahead and bring up our panel. So come on up.